And she'd just be sitting there.
Yeah, good.
She wrote and said that the trustees are coming.
Here we are. Yes, here's the 15. That means.
Okay, means roll it.
Yep.
Okay, it's 3:30, I'm gonna call the meeting to order. Roll call, Brian?
Here.
Kyle?
Here.
And Smith is present. Will everyone please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? Pledge of
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So I'm just gonna give a quick explanation of our public input policy. I just started making that a tradition so there's no confusion. The board allows public input twice, 5 minutes in the beginning, 5 minutes at the end. The purpose of that 5-minute time limit is to ensure there's an equity in the process, that everyone has equal amount of time to address the board, and we're not picking and choosing and allocating more time to individuals. That's the purpose of that policy. If you think you're gonna need 5 minutes, please let me know so I can set the timer. If you're just gonna make a quick comment, I don't need to set the timer. That being said, I am opening it to the first public input.
Hi, Marie
Marie
McConaty,
McConaty.
Ossipee. I was here at the last, probably, I don't know if I'm gonna need 5 minutes or not, but you can set your timer. I think.
I'll set it just in case.
I was here at the last meeting, and I had asked a specific question and got an answer. So when I asked Kyle if he had reached out to any of the other selectmen, you said no. I said, I thought I read about it in the newspaper. You said, no, it might have been a misunderstanding, but you only reached out to Matt. So I requested a 91A.
Can I have a point of clarification? What I said was I sent an email to Matt with both Brian and Jonathan on copy. That's what I said at the last meeting.
Okay.
Which is not a violation of 91A. So.
I didn't say it was violated, I'm just saying, what the email says is, hello all, not, hi Matt, can you reach out to the other selectmen? It says hello all, to all of it, so I'm assuming you were discussing, you were talking to all of them.
Yeah,
Right.
that's why I put them on copy. Yeah.
Okay, so I didn't think that you were able to talk to other selectmen at all.
The training I went to
Okay.
said you can do that, so that's why I
Okay,
did.
neither here nor there.
Thanks.
So my question is, when I asked you, you said you emailed Matt directly, and that Matt sent emails. I can go back through the tape and listen to it. You said you were concerned that Jonathan wasn't getting back to you in regards to a special meeting, whatever. So my question now is, have you been in contact with either selectman, Jonathan or Brian, via any other way? Facebook, Snapchat, Instagram, Messenger, any private apps at all?
No,
No.
just the email, I'll say it one more time. The email I sent to Matt with both Brian and John on copy, which is a way we have communicated many times to Matt in the past when we want the other two selectmen to know what it is that we're talking about. Which
Okay.
I've been told if they're on copy and nobody actually replies to that and doesn't start a conversation. So once someone hits reply all to an email, that is against the laws because that constitutes a meeting at that point. But when we send it just like that, the way I understand it, and I could be wrong, but I've been told through the training I went to with the New Hampshire Municipal Association back at the court, back in the fall, there was, or the summertime, there was a meeting that they gave on 91A that a lot of us attended. That sounded like that was allowed to us. So I wanted both Brian and Jonathan to know that I was emailing Matt that sentiment.
Okay, so if I go further with this and go to DRA and request your phone and any information, then they're not gonna find anything on that.
No, they're not. You're welcome to do so.
All right, perfect, thank you.
Any other public input? Oh, let me start this, sorry.
Right here.
Okay, Pat Pustel.
Yes, I'm here as library trustee to ask about our receiving our checks from the town and at the frequency we get them. Because it seems that either December's was late or did it come? I think it did
December
finally
came-
come.
It came.
Came in January, and now it is February, and we're waiting on January's. So I'm wondering if there's a different way we should arrange payments to us, for us to make our payments to our bills. Like, do we do it quarterly, so that you don't have to send a check every month? What is the system that we have about, you know, is there a certain way that we do it to receive our checks on time? Because if we have bills on, we think we're getting our money on the 1st, and we don't get it until the 5th, and something was due on the 3rd. Now, granted, we do have money in our accounts, but I'm just looking for the flow of income to the library, if we could have it in an orderly fashion when we know we're gonna receive it, and then to use the funds.
Yep, so we just went through a transition in the finance office. We have a new, what do you call it?
Contractor, accounting firm.
Yep,
contractor.
accounting firm contracted to eliminate any future discrepancies in bill payment. We also had an issue with the one fire precinct not processing the
that.
tax bill with cash flow.
Yeah.
So we had some cash flow issues at that time until we got the TAN note in to be able to pay the bills out. So all those moving parts in that transition hopefully will be resolved going forward.
Is there a specific period of the month where you normally get it? Like you just said the 1st, has that been?
I believe we've always received the payment for like January at the end of December, or is it? the beginning of the
Usually
month?
the middle of the month. we
By the
usually
middle of the
get-
month.
Get
Yeah.
one.
And then sometimes, so we're not having a specific date of when it's coming, and then you're looking for it. So it's just, I want to make sure that there's not a problem. And is there a way, maybe if we did it quarterly, would that be better? Or if this continues and now that we have all the people
Monthly
in a
should be
row?
fine. The new
New person.
responsible party has monthly payments to the school and the village districts, and now we know to the library, so just,
Yes, okay.
I
Yeah.
think I took care of it.
Right.
Just
Well,
don't hesitate
And I
to
think
reach out to
you
Matt.
guys were
Alright.
CC'd, I believe, on the email chain, because there's the new email address, accounting@ossipee.org.
Right.
So. it
Yeah,
should be-
Jenny does keep us
Yep.
aware of it all,
Yep.
but I'm being, this is February, and if there's a problem, we should know about it or make a change before we proceed any further. So that's all I have. If you
Great.
think our money is coming, and
It's coming.
no problem. I appreciate that.
No problem, thank you, Pat. Any other public input? Go ahead, Ed.
Am I allowed to speak?
Absolutely.
I just want to put in a correction after some more research. The earmark that Gene Shaheen's office put out for $138,000 going to Friends of Constitution Park was not distributed. So they did not receive that money.
Great.
I just want to make sure that gets in there.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other public input?
Thank you, Ed.
Yeah,
Ash Fishbein.
Ash Fishbein, Ossipee. I saw a petition going around and I heard it got submitted for a conflict of interest on this board with your position, John. I saw Brian's signature, I saw Kyle's signature on there. And I wanna, is the author here? Bob, was Edwina the author? Were you the author?
Oh, she was, but she's not here yet.
I just want to, saying conflict of interest is a pretty bold statement. And I feel like when you took the position over a while back, years ago, there were a lot of wrinkles through this town. I might need 5 minutes, by the way.
Oh, let me, I'm
Fishbein
sorry,
are
let me
long-winded.
set it, I'm sorry. That's my fault for not doing that. Go ahead.
Easy now. So, you know, back then it was a big deal, and I questioned it. A lot of people questioned it. RSAs showed otherwise, and now there's a petition going on, authored by Edwina, a lot of signatures, including the selectmen, who I'm assuming believe there's a conflict of interest. And I would love to just hear about that and why we think that there's a conflict of interest here. When I see, you know, obviously what went down with Deer Run, it was very elevated, a hot topic, not really our proudest moments, but it is what it is, and on it moved, hopefully. And then to follow it up with this like somewhat emotional petition that all of a sudden there's this conflict of interest. And I'd love for some folks to speak on that. And this is a two-parter. The other part is in defense of Jonathan. We have for years, and the reason I got involved with this town was because there was a lot of crazy stuff happening 11 years ago. that was truly questionable. And we have had zoning since 1987, and never has this town body had the opportunity to be represented by someone taking it to the degree that Jonathan has. And unfortunately, it has upset a lot of people, in fairness, but at the same time, the majority of those violations or issues that have come across zoning, I'm sure the majority of them are caused by a complaint from a neighbor. So that's also representing the town bodies. So I just would love to hear, if I may, the reason for the conflict of interest. Using those terms are very, very heavy, and I would like to just hear from the two selectmen that put their names on that as to what caused that. It just blows my mind.
I'd be happy to speak on it. So,
Yeah.
before I was even elected, back during the election, I was approached several times by different members of our community, former selectmen in some cases, that had an issue with the number of hats that Jonathan wore as both building inspector, zoning officer, chair of the select board, and a state rep as well, representing our town, even though that's not a town position. But those four things were always brought up. And I know some of it comes from the fact that some people view, Jonathan coming from New York as being an outsider and not a local long-term. I know some people think that about me as well, because I've only lived in town full-time for 10 years. But the conception or the concept that people kept bringing up to me over and over again was they thought that he was kind of serving as the judge and jury in some cases, where if he had some kind of enforcement action as a zoning officer or a building inspector that someone didn't agree with, their recourse would be to come to the Board of Selectmen for, clarification or, a second opinion, as it might be. And the appearance was that it was going to be hard for the select board to be impartial on that, considering we're all members of a team in those roles, and that Jonathan would potentially have to recuse himself from a vote, and there may be some undue pressure on the other two select board members to either support what he had done or not, depending on the situation. It became such a recurring theme to hear that. I can't tell you how many times I've had that conversation with folks. And I used to say, I got to be honest with you, I've seen what was done with previous building inspectors, what I've seen, enforcement actions in the past, and I do think Jonathan does a great job in his role. But my thought, and the reason I signed the petition when I was asked, and I will say that directly affects me, because I currently am a per diem employee at the town transfer station and have worked for the cemetery on a per diem basis as well, doing cleanup this past fall. And I know that means I can no longer work in those roles if this passes. I was still willing to sign because I've heard from enough people and enough constituents that they think this is a problem. And just the mere appearance of a conflict of interest alone was enough to make it look like it was a conflict of interest. So I thought to keep it clean, it made sense to sign that and to give my support to it.
So, are you done? You got anything else to add, Ash?
Well,
I stopped your time. Or you waiting for Brian?
Yeah, so
Gosh, I'd like to hear.
I don't want to sound like a broken record, but everything you just heard from Kyle, for me, I would agree with you. I was happy to run with John when we ran. I really like John and think he does do a good job. It's about the position, not the person. There comes a time where it's about the position, not the person. The statute calls it a conflict of interest. I would call it more of an incompatibility. The last thing any municipal government needs is an echo chamber where you have an exception with the building inspector, so you say, all right, I'm gonna go to the selectman, and then John can put on the other hat and be like, okay, here I am as your selectman. And that's probably the genesis for the 5-man board. That's all,
Right,
it's the position,
gonna say
it's
that
the
ends-
position, not the person.
that ends with
He's
the
a very
5-man board.
competent building inspector, there's no doubt about
Yeah.
it. And I think it's about moving forward in the future with the position and what's right. And if you call NHMA and, like I'd use them and I vetted it with an attorney, and they'll tell you like that's wild. you know, maybe in a small town, say Waterville Valley, maybe you can be the police chief, the fire chief, a selectman. There's 4,000 or 5,000 people here, so it's just, our town has grown to the point where I signed it. Because I agree with it, quite frankly.
I'm still on Ash's time, I paused it because these two are speaking, his time's not gonna be used. So, you need to go continue to talk, Ash, I'm gonna reset your time.
No, you said you wanted to say something.
Yeah, I'm gonna speak to it, so, yes, obviously, I got the petition in front of me, I'm gonna talk about a few petitions that we got here, I'm just gonna explain the process. I look at the petition and I read it about a conflict of interest, and I look at all the names that are within it. And I question and I say, I really believe it's a lack of ignorance to the process, and I just heard these two selectmen here speak to the fact that if there's a grievance on the building code or zoning, they come to the board. That's not how it works. That is not the process. The zoning officer does nothing but refer. I am not the judge and the jury. Take me out of it, whoever's in this role. I refer cases to the zoning board of adjustment. The zoning board of adjustment is the one that makes the determination whether or not my decision is correct. If there's a question on building code interpretation, the zoning board is also the building code board of appeals. That's where questions go to the zoning board, not to the board. This body, has no authority to override the building code or the zoning ordinance. A matter of fact, we take an oath, and there's 15 candidates signed up downstairs. That oath talks about upholding the Constitution and the rules and the regulations of the state of New Hampshire. That includes the building code as adopted, that includes the zoning board as adopted. So even if somebody comes before us from the public and complains that the zoning officer is doing something contrary to what I believe, or the building code is contrary, you know what the board is supposed to say? I'm sorry, sir, the appeals process is through the zoning board of adjustment, not through this body, because we have no authority to override the building code or the zoning ordinance. If I refer somebody for a violation of that zoning ordinance, I don't impose penalties or make a determination on guilt or innocence. It goes to either Superior Court or District Court. That is where it goes. It's not me acting as judge and jury. So I think this petition comes from a complete misunderstanding and misconception of the process, which I can fully understand because it is complex. It took me an enormous amount of time to read, but all I do is read and understand the law, and that's why I'm good at it. There's no other way around it. I follow the law. I take my oath seriously. So I'm just going to share with the board here. This is my most current, and I'm going to hand out some copies. These are my most current, here, pass these out. This is about 8 pages of zoning cases and building code cases that have come to me via complaints. That means the general public has complained to me. I am giving them a resolution. I am explaining to them what their options are. I am following the will of the people. Yes, that may upset people if you're on the receiving end of my warning letter or you're on the receiving end of my notice of violation, but when you look through this list, this has never been done before in this town. Multiple pages of satisfied people. You two have complained to me. Brian complained to me about illegal cars parked up in Knox Mountain. I addressed it. Guess what? Those cars are gone. You had the other issue off of Levitt Road with that illegal concrete slab being put in. I addressed it. Guess what? They got an equitable waiver through the zoning board. I made them legal. This is not about zoning enforcement. This is about zoning compliance and building code compliance. It's about treating everybody equally and fairly through the process. So ultimately, this is the way I look at it. I take my oath so seriously. When I put that hat on, I follow the rules because it's my credibility. It's my honor is all I have in this whole operation. And if I'm not consistent in the way I do it, then I'm dead in the water. Then you can throw me out. But as of now, I've done my duty to the people, and this is living proof, a document, that I do my duty every time I come to this office. So it's unfortunate that that's been submitted, but I truly think it's coming from an emotional side rather than a factual side, and I'm going to leave it at that.
Can I claim my time?
Yep, you have 2 minutes, 57 seconds.
I think I can do that. See how genetically possible.
That's plenty of time.
So on top of that, I had asked Jonathan to provide me a report on what the previous inspectors and all of that have done. I don't know if you folks have seen it, but in 2025, he had 458 inspections. The year before was 375. Prior to that, no need to list names, but it was 177, 110, 203, 93, 17, 6, 38, and 12. And, I think it's just unfortunate that it feels there's a lot of knee-jerk reaction and a lot of emotion that go into it. But I do think that Jonathan does a really great job. But I had to hear as to why, because when you use the words conflict of interest, I just felt like we were on repeat from 3 or 4 years ago when Jonathan took those positions, and felt like we were in the same exact echo chamber, because I personally don't see it. I see people getting upset that there are issues with certain violations in properties. A lot of those lists, the people on those lists that you see in there are very vocal on Facebook against Mr. Smith. I think I don't know. I just think we all need to take a step back and think about the majority of the people, because the people on those, I think, are the ones that, or the neighbors of the people of those are the ones that spoke out and are quite happy for the way things have gone.
Thank you. Go ahead, Bob.
I think you referred to me, and in lieu of the person who drafted, I'll take a stab at it. I don't look at this as a person. From an organizational standpoint, the law says none of you can be a full-time employee, okay?
Correct.
So you can't be half pregnant. You can't be a part-time doing the same thing. Not you, but who would supervise in the future if he took that job? Who would supervise him? Who do you report to? I'm pointing you, but I don't mean you.
Yeah.
This is a futuristic thing. It's the image. Everybody should be arm's length, maybe double arm's length, from decisions that are made, so you can act without having. You work. I told these two guys directly, I don't like the fact that they work part-time. Now, I know it's good for the town, but it's bad. What if all of you had jobs in the town part-time? I don't think that's good. So where does it start? Well, it's okay for one, but it's not okay for four. And I'm not being pejorative, but step back and look at it. It's not a personality thing. What is good for this town is to have a wholesome arm's length, and then when decisions are made, it's not that you keep pointing at you. I mean, all of you have the right to do something by the RSAs. Our concern, and my concern is, it's how you do it. And if you do it and I'm part-time this, how can you be thinking about, as a selectman, the good of the order? You've got to have some cognitive dissonance there. So why not make it wholesome? Not saying right or wrong. I mean, I didn't make it a pejorative person thing. You interpreted it that way. I didn't. I mean, I've had conversations with you. You didn't like what I had to say. No, it doesn't mean I don't. We don't work together. But that's what I believe.
Thank you, Bob. Okay, ma'am, just state your name, please.
My name is Ellen Keith, and I'm a resident of the town, and I clearly stepped right into a hornet's nest unintentionally. I have no horse in this race, I will say that, but I do know a little bit about some of the topics that you're talking about, and I think you've done an excellent job. We've had some good conversations. I think everybody is coming from a place of sincere intent. I don't question that. I haven't seen the petition, but from just what I've heard, it seems to me that it is the perception that we're trying to protect the town from a potential perception of a conflict of interest. I work with a commission in Concord that deals with lots of towns and different building codes and that sort of thing, and I was told by one of our employees that this is the only town they know of where the person is the building inspector that's also on the selectmen. She said, have you guys ever been sued? And I said, no, and she said, oh boy, careful. And I was like, oh, okay. So that's all I know, is that I think it's the perception that people are worried about, and trying to keep a separation is wise in terms of that. I don't know anything about the complaints in the past that have happened. All I know is I know you've done a good job from everything I've read. I don't think this is based on the past. I think this is trying to be future forward focused, protect the town, give everybody the separation that they need to keep it clear and just protect the town. I don't think it's personal. I hear you reacting defensively. I might too if I thought I was named in something. I hear everybody assuming this is personal. Me coming in from the outside just as a resident, this doesn't sound personal. It sounds pragmatic from a civic government point of view. So that's just my 2 cents worth on it.
Thank you.
I think you all do an excellent job.
Thank you.
Who? I'd like to say one more thing.
Look, Pat Pustel had her hand up.
Yes, I have to say, I have signed that petition, but I didn't sign it because I thought anybody was doing anything wrong. I think as a future thing, we have very upstanding, honest, trying hard to do their job people in office right now. But we might, since someone leaves, someone come in and decide, wow, I can do all of this. And it's looking to protect, as she says, the future. And to have a discussion, because it does appear like if you decide this, you can decide that. You might have to recuse this. It's complicated for people to look at it. And there's no one who you know follows you better than I to see what's happening. So I don't think it was anything vindictive, as she said. It is to protect the town and have the best people making the best decisions. And as many people as we can get involved, because Lord knows, people have to do 3 and 4 jobs because no one else steps up. And so we need to encourage participation, not complaints. So.
Thank you, Pat. Who, just,
I was just.
Bobby had just, all right, go ahead, Bob, go ahead.
I just want to
Yeah.
remind
Yeah.
you, what sold me many on that, you came to a meeting and said, I want to do away with this a couple meetings ago.
No, that was about the building inspector position,
Well,
but I was making a bigger point.
Right, okay, then maybe I missed your point.
Yes.
Because then you retracted it, so I don't know where your head was. You never finished it because you said you didn't want to discuss it anymore. So that led me to believe that maybe you didn't even want to keep even further arms away
No,
from this.
no.
Okay.
Good, Bobby.
Bobby Rokes,
Bobby
on
Rokes.
Ossipee. If you usually don't know me, I'm a manufacturing engineer and I solve problems for a reason. The biggest thing I tell people is a perceived problem is a problem. And what you really have is a perceived problem, right? So you either settle a perceived problem one or 2 ways. Either regulate it out or you educate the people who think there's a problem. I think from moving forward, because of the position and because the town's growing, this might be a better regulated out, but I'm not 100% sure. I haven't looked into the matter. But those are the 2 things that can happen, because a lot of what goes on here is a perceived problem. It's because the public's not educated.
Thanks, Bobby. I'll get to you, Marie, and then back to you, Susan.
So, Marie McConley, so my question is, you're not technically an employee, you weren't hired by the town. You were voted in by the select board, correct?
So I was hired as a zoning officer prior to being a selectman. And
Okay.
then during COVID, I stayed in, but then I resigned because of the whole economy was falling apart.
Right.
And then I was reappointed by the Board of Selectmen.
Right, so then the second time, because we had a zoning and.
Correct.
And building inspector for a time being, and then when he went out,
Correct.
you were
Correct.
appointed
Correct.
by the board. So at any given time in the past year, the other 2 selectmen could have said, hey, I think it's time to look into hiring a zoning enforcer or a building inspector, if you thought there was a problem with conflict. Like, you could have resolved this at any time in the past year since Kyle came on, right? I mean, I'm not sure.
No, of course. At the
Right,
board,
I'm not sure what board.
I work at the pleasure of the board.
Right,
Just like Kyle
exactly.
works at the pleasure of the board.
Right.
That is the reality of it.
Right,
Correct.
and then another thing on that, if you signed that petition, I would assume that you would just immediately step down if you think that it's not right to have a conflict like that. I would think that, because that would be hypocritical if you didn't. Like, I'm gonna sign a petition saying that selectmen shouldn't work, but I'm gonna continue to work until the body says that I can't work. So that seems sort of hypocritical in my eyes, that if you're employed by the town and you sign the petition, that you think that you shouldn't be employed, that you would step down.
I'm assuming you're directing this to me, so.
Yeah, no, well, yeah, I'm directing
I'll
it to you
respond-
because
I'll
you were.
respond. Yeah, so cemetery work is done until next spring, so I wouldn't be working there anymore.
Right.
And right now, the only reason I'm a per diem employee at the transfer station is to cover people that are out on vacation, so there was a need for that. That's why I stepped into that role to begin with. So right now, I have no future scheduled hours at the moment. I don't know of anything coming down the pike. And if it made people feel better about it, I would gladly resign. The point, when I was asked about this, I got an email from the person who wrote this on a Friday afternoon, and I took an entire weekend to think about it and didn't respond to her until Monday. And I thought about every angle about this, and I ultimately landed on the appearance of a conflict of interest was enough that it was worth signing it to support it, because I thought that the people had spoken enough, just in my own experience, because I had been approached so many times about it. I think Jonathan has done an incredible job as the building inspector. One of the first things that came to my mind is, are we going to be able to find somebody who's going to do anywhere near as good a job as him?
Yeah.
I don't know that. I don't know. But I also know that Ossipee has a lot of people that are in the construction fields and things, and my hope is that we can find someone who does close to as good a job as Jonathan, because I don't dispute that he does. As a resident of the town, I'm thankful that he has done the zoning enforcement that he has done. I've heard through the grapevine that there's some kind of a warrant article out there to get rid of zoning. I would not be in favor of that. I would never support that. I would never vote for that as a resident. Because when you're a neighbor who's had your rights violated by something your next door neighbor or someone in your neighborhood is doing, I'm glad that there's a mechanism to enforce the rules. And Jonathan doesn't go out looking for it. He does go based on what people have complained about. And I've heard that in the past, and I wasn't on the board at that time, but I've heard that there was lots of times that people complained in the past that nobody did anything to support them. And I think that's awful, and I don't think that's the way things should be run. So I just want to be clear that this is not a personal thing. This is sometimes the appearance of conflict of interest is enough reputationally to cause issues, and I think this is just a cleaner way to go, so I was willing to support it. And ultimately, it's a warrant article. It's up to the town to vote. If the town said no, they don't feel that was the case, that they don't think it's a conflict of interest, and don't vote for it, Jonathan stays in the position as far as I'm concerned, because he is doing a good job. I just feel like the people have spoken a lot to us about this being an issue for a lot of people. And some of it may be like Mr. Roque said, that it is a lack of information or education, and maybe we could have done a better job somehow along the way of educating people. I feel like in general, we don't sing our praises enough from this town's perspective. I don't think we talk about the victories. You know, we hear a lot of talk on Facebook about the negative stuff, but I don't think we do a good enough job with doing our own public relations to say, this is what we did and why we did it and why it benefits the town. I think there's a lot of room for improvement on that, just in general, in what we do. But enough said on that, as far as I'm concerned.
So, moving forward with that, did either of you look into because we do have some lawsuits in town, if Jonathan isn't doing that anymore, do the lawsuits continue on, or do they have to, did you guys get legal?
I can, that was my question gonna be to follow up, because that's actually one of my, listening to this whole thing. So you see that list that's before you. This article, if it passes within 30 days. That means I'm out, which is fine. I got plenty to do. I'm doing this because there was a gap to be filled. The taxpayers are making $65,000 a year, and the net positive by me doing this role, which is a huge savings. You go full-time, you're gonna be down probably $30,000. That being said, what is gonna be the plan, because you have 30 days if this is gonna apply, to kick in, I'm out, to advertise, hire, qualify, train, and then you have all these existing cases that are actually in the legal pipeline right now. What's the remedy for that? I mean, Brian, you're out, so it's not gonna be your problem, but it's gonna be a problem for Kyle as a board member, and even myself. How are we gonna deal with this interruption in this application of this? See, in my mind, if this was drafted, I could support this, right? Obviously, I'm gonna oppose it because it's hastily done within 30 days. If this was pushed out, as the law allows, you could push it out a year. Make it apply a year after it's passed. That'll give an entire year to wind down what's in the legal pipeline. Don't send new cases to court. Hire and train somebody new to come on and have an orderly transition, rather than this chaotic transition that's going to occur within 30 days. Because hiring somebody qualified within 30 days is gonna be an impossibility, an absolute impossibility. So, that's my
That makes
thoughts on
sense
that.
to me.
But that's not, the petition's in, someone would have to make that change at town meeting. Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Just really quickly.
Yeah.
I'm not familiar with the lawsuits, but is there any possibility that any of the lawsuits would go away if
The-
this were enacted? And then my follow-up question on that is, having a lawsuit is not the way we want to educate the public. Educate
No,
the
so-
public is a good idea, but that's, I think that's what this is about, is protection for the future. But in terms of where we're at now, would any of them dissipate were this? to go
Lawsuits
through?
are, you think of lawsuits like someone suing you for
Oh, believe me, I
wrongful
know about
something.
them.
Yeah, but, no, these are active zoning complaints that have been
Right.
going on for a couple of years.
Yep.
That are now, due to lack of compliance, are in the court process for enforcement, right?
Okay.
By the time we go to court, just a quick process. But from the start to court could be a year or two before someone actually gets there.
And because you were the zoning officer at the time all of this happened, I believe you are still
Correct.
the person that represents the town.
Correct. I'm the one.
And goes to court
right.
and deals with all
So
of
one
that.
of these cases right now, I have a bench trial scheduled for August and September. If I'm not in this role, I don't know what's gonna happen. Now, there's people on the other end of that complaint that are looking for a remedy. They've complained for decades about this giant junkyard. It's a junkyard, it's a horrific one. And I don't know what's gonna happen with that, because I am no longer in the role. It's gonna complicate the process, and I did have a conversation with the town attorney about it. He said, yeah, it's gonna really put a monkey wrench in you not being in that position. But if that's what the public wants, so be it. I'm gonna sit here as a selectman, go about my business, and I won't be in the role, but the headache is not gonna fall on me, it's gonna fall on a five-man board. And I feel bad for the public that's not gonna get restitution. Okay, so,
I am so confused right now because are we talking, you not as a selectman, are you not as building inspector, are you not as zoning board? I mean, I'm sure there's cases before with other building inspectors and things that, so by losing, I'm kind of lost on what we're trying to eliminate here. It's making it sound like we're trying to eliminate you as a selectman.
no,
That's not true.
nothing to do with selectmen.
Right, so again, there's so many roles, and with the growth of the town, I mean, this is, you see a perfect example in the fire department. The fire chief can't do all those inspections anymore, the fire chief can't be, so we hired, you know, a fire inspector, so now they do. With all those cases that Ash spoke up, we have a very good fire inspector now that's for, not for residential, but for commercial, and things are being processed and done right because of the growth. Not one person can keep doing the same jobs.
But the question was about the legal aspects, that's the question. I don't know what your question
So the
is.
legal aspect, if that was about the building inspector at the time, wouldn't it still be for you? It wouldn't be the new building inspector?
Yeah.
No, it doesn't work that way,
Yeah,
because
but if there isn't a building inspector, you get called in as the expert representing the town because you were in the position.
not
previously.
necessarily, it doesn't work that
Two
way.
lawsuits I know of, though, that's been the
It
case.
doesn't work that way.
If I could just
Okay, Brian.
a sec, just to answer your question. So whether I'm on the way out or not, I mean, I would take a stab at saying, if there's a name for it, it's probably happened before. So is it a monkey wrench? Yes, we have a legal team. And then the way I would handle it is we would post internally and externally for a building inspector that is not a selectman.
Oh, no,
That's how I would handle it, yeah.
No, no one's disputing the process, but that is the process.
That is it, yeah.
And that's my question, the 30-day trend. But anyway, we beat this to death. Any other public input before we move on, because we've already been going for
Just-
40 minutes.
Right, just one more,
Go ahead,
real
Sue.
quick, and I apologize for that. But, you know, all I'm saying is the same thing, like last year, you know, being on the budget committee, we saw all the cuts and departments and, you know, like we dealt with financial directors only part-time and all the cutbacks, and I've questioned it numerous times about, you still need a structure with X amount of hours to be able to continue producing the right kind of town. Like, you wouldn't cut back on the DPW because we know how busy you guys are. So with all these things coming up, you seem like you have like the same person, like, you know, like Matt was doing a lot of stuff with the finance. I mean, it's like you're funneling extra work on all these people, and somewhere along the lines, there's gonna be a crack, there's gonna be a break, something's gonna happen. You know, you've gotta, if you're gonna be growing and expecting this kind of a budget, you know, 7 million, whatever it is, you've gotta have the right kind of employees. You have to have the right number, they've gotta be the proper hours, you know, or it's just like, again, I know I say, like at the hospital or the fire department, you go to a burning building, you gotta have enough firefighters there to put it out, or someone's gonna get hurt. And that's what I always saw with you cutting back. There's gotta be some kind of level of, not status quo, but what would it be, like, you know, like a baseline of what you need to run that kind of budget and how many employees, and they can't all be the same person.
And we've done a good job with that. Any other public input? Seeing none, I'm gonna move on the agenda.
Sorry, John.
Oh, I'm sorry, Damon.
Thanks. Question to the board or whoever, maybe Matt.
Dave Steer-Collins.
Dave Steer-Collins, Sean.
Thank
Has
you.
anyone ever seen a time when there were like, what, like 13, a dozen candidates for selectmen?
No, I've seen 7 or 8, but never 13, but we also have 3 positions open, so,
Right.
yeah. So,
That's gotta be some kind of record in the.
I think you're right, the clerk would be the person to talk to,
Yeah.
the town clerk, because she's the one that handles the sign-up, but you're right, I think that's a good question. Okay, that's it, I'm gonna move on to red folder documents. Okay, Kyle, you got something from you?
Yeah, I've got requests for clerical abatements, 3 of them here, gonna do all together. The first one is for map 130, lot 12, sub 128. It's a request for a abatement that was recommended to be approved for $112 plus interest. Another one for map 104, lot 14002, sub 10, for recommended approval for $115 plus interest. And the last is map 130, lot 12, sub 110, a recommended amount of $203 plus interest. I'd like to make a motion that we approve all 3 of these clerical abatements.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye. That what you got?
Yep.
I have this is just a letter from the board. David Scanlon, the Board of Selectmen would like to move forward, starting with town election, March 10, 2026, to use the Voting Works VX Scan as our ballot counting machine. I motion to approve this.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. This is, I guess this is a warrant, just signed for the town election for Carroll County District 7 seat on March 10th. I motion to approve this.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
I have a supplemental warrant, I have 2. One is for 700 Route 16, the amount of $112, it's for a campsite. Another one is same thing, it's for a different year, 700 Route 16, correct owner of the campsite, amount of $203. I motion to approve this.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
I have 2 boat agreements. One is between Winniscom Marine of Ossipee and one is for Melvin Village Marina. This is a normal annual agreement for them to sell the boat licenses, boat registrations, I should say. I motion to approve this.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
You guys all signed it? Good. Fantastic. That is done. Did you guys get a chance to review this notice for the Deer Cove? This is gonna be the public notice.
Yep.
This is just a public notice going out for the Deer Cove warrant article to discontinue a portion of it from South Shore Road northerly to the dead end of Deer Cove Road. This has been talked about in the meetings. I'll motion to approve this draft as presented by the town administrator.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
You want an initial copy on this?
No, the record is fine.
We're gonna go right to, Brian, you have a motion, I think, for the 2026 budget recommendations? I think in front of you?
Yeah, I wanted to make a motion to ratify the previously recommended budget, including the operating budget and all monetary warrant articles for the total appropriated amount of $9,602,111.
I'll second that.
I have one quick question on that topic. One of the things I proposed for the agenda was one more item. I just want to make sure that we still have the Lake Coast program.
Yeah, we got it on there.
But is that, if we vote on this now?
Well, it's not,
I'm here, so. you know,
yeah, any changes that could occur, we're gonna be here next week on the 9th, so we'll have time to fix them next Monday if,
Yeah, anything that happens from hereafter would would change, but this
Yeah.
ratifies everything that was done prior, not always with the whole board.
Thank you for the clarification.
Yeah.
Perfect. So you made that motion, I seconded. Got any more discussion on it? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, next item we have is town manager form of government. I know that was Brian's request. You got something you want to add on that?
Yeah, I was gonna table it after a recent legal consult. So I just want to read this into the record. Our current town administrator, Matt Sawyer, has the knowledge, skills, and ability to lead the town. For the past 6 years, he has developed municipal experience that was built on top of his executive finance background. Matt has the close ties and personality to keep Ossipee's reputation intact. That reputation includes a great place to live and for the town to maintain its tradition of being a good employer to its employees. Matt has established and maintained an impressive reputation across New Hampshire as a strong municipal leader. Our town could expect improved and sustainable growth balanced with staunch fiscal responsibility placed upon the foundation Matt and these past selectmen have worked hard to create. He has established a strong working relationship with all the department heads, union leadership, and the town's legal team. We have a great team here. The best captain for this team is Matt. Make no mistake about the fact that selectmen will come and go, but having a strong and steady captain to steer Ossepee's ship will enhance our town's local government even better than it is today. With the current growth of our town alone, a prudent course of action for the purpose of maintaining effective and efficient town government for members of this current board and future board members. I'm not going to make the motion, but I would implore the incoming 3 selectmen to closely evaluate Matt, consider Matt in the year 26-27, to allow him to show you his leadership and consider moving to RSA 37.
So
We're not going to do it today.
So you're tabling it, you don't want to discuss it. Are you good? You good too?
I just wanted to get that out for future
Thank you.
consideration.
Okay, risk assessment town-owned properties. There was a discussion in the past about general overview to make sure the town generally is ADA compliant. I believe we can consult with the Governor's Commission on Disability. That's what they do. They have experts, they can come and evaluate to ensure that we're not missing something. I think let the experts, oh, that's right, that's Alan Keith. Yes, you are it, you sit on the board.
I don't claim any expertise at all, I just happen to be
Yeah.
on the commission.
Yeah.
And I think I'm the dinosaur on the commission because they keep appointing me. But
Right.
we have an accessibility specialist, an
Right.
ADA coordinator,
Yeah.
who will come out to municipalities for free or to businesses or state government buildings and evaluate any potential needs in terms of construction or any adaptations. And our executive director, I believe 2 of you have talked with Chuck Sayed. Everybody's on board with coming and helping in
Okay,
any
great.
way they can. They really want to see this resolved because it's for such a good cause. Such a good cause. And everybody, we know everybody has wanted from the very beginning for this to be the best possible. And the other thing is that for everybody to remember, everybody gets really scared when they hear ADA. It's reasonable accommodations. If there's something that's impossible, nothing's going to be recommended that's going to put the town into bankruptcy. It has to do with reasonable accommodations to promote accessibility. And wouldn't it be wonderful if the Ossipee residents that live at Mountain View were able to bring a van out once a month with some folks to actually see the lake? Because there's no other public access for them to be able to get a wheelchair and see the lake, or even go down with a walker, which I just got off of, so it's a little personal. But anyway, our office is really, really pleased. They've talked with several people, and they said they've rarely found a town so willing to do the right thing, and so our office is willing to come up and consult for free and do whatever we can to support your efforts.
I just
We applaud
just
you.
want to clarify real
Sure.
quick. So we're saying not just the Deer Run Trail. This is more looking at all government properties,
Right.
that Ossipee owns, just for consistency across the board to make sure we're not missing
Our
anything.
consultant would come up and spend a whole day with you
Yep.
and sit down for lunch and go over everything, but that is what she does. And our executive director is willing to get involved with this too, just because of whatever the previous kerfuffle is. We want to make sure it's really smooth sailing for you guys and as easy as possible. So they're more than willing, and frankly, I think they love field trips to get out of Concord once in a while too.
So I think the best remedy would be have Matt reach out for them, send it, and then he can team up with Public Works, who can take them around, and they can do their report and report back to us.
Do we need a motion for that?
I don't think so, it's not.
That'd be great.
I think it sounds good.
Okay, that takes care of that. PD body cameras, hopefully, I know the last time he came, the directive was to bring us something more reasonable. Do you have something, or is this your thing?
I had wanted to bring it up. I wanted to see if we could come to an agreement to get a shot at letting the townspeople vote on this. In thinking about it, since we brought it up a few months ago, I think about personnel issues with the police department, past or future. Training issues, we have a handful of seasoned police officers with a cornucopia of unseasoned police officers. It could be good for training. A neighboring town that I work in, I mean, they had a police officer that was run down by someone with a vehicle. And that body camera footage could be the difference on whether they're able to successfully prosecute attempted capital murder charge or not. So when I think about that, and I think about the direction the town's going and protecting our employees, I would like to motion that we bring it back, and the chief's got firm numbers to see if we can vote these body cameras in.
So, let me just ask the chief. Chief, are you still looking at that Axiom system? Have you done any other research?
Yes, I reached out to that other company, Mattel,
Yeah.
that you gave us, and they sent us a body camera. It's okay, the software itself is totally outdated. The difference with Axon is it does everything for you. Since Brian reached out to me, I reached out to Axon again, myself and Lieutenant Ripley, and they're willing to give us $12,000 worth of cameras for free. It's just all the storage, the AI, and all the other side of it.
So, I still, just remind me, I remember in the discussion of this last time, I'm all for body cameras, right, but it's gotta be reasonable. This is Ossipee, 4,300 people, I think Kyle, is fiscally sound on this also, at least he was in the last meeting. That's a $250,000 contract,
Yes.
right? I mean, we're talking, Axiom to me is, I don't know if Cadillac is a good car anymore, it's the Cadillac of systems, right? That's what you see in big cities that have budgets in the hundreds of millions or tens of millions or, multi-millions. Your budget's 1.4 million. To spend $250,000 on body cameras in Ossipee is not in my mind, is not justified. I mean, I just gave the board, I know this is not your favorite thing, but this is just one example. Martel Electronics, they've been around since 1957. They have a 12-officer body camera. It's not Axiom, I'm not gonna say it is. But it gives them a body camera, it gives them a computer docking system, they plug the camera in, it downloads everything, all storage is local, it does what he needs to do, maybe not to the level he would like, and that's 12 cameras for $9,000, it's a one-time purchase. That is a reasonable start for the taxpayer to get them body cameras, get up on how to use them and operate them in the public, make it part of their daily operation before we go full bore into a $250,000 contract for cameras that, this is Ossipee. I mean, everyone complains about their taxes. That is the number one complaint, my taxes, right? You can have whatever you want as long as you're willing to pay for it. I keep saying at a town meeting, we keep adding, and our taxes keep going up. I mean, I love it, I love the idea, I want cameras, I just think there has to be a reasonable cost to the taxpayer in this. And this system, maybe this ain't the perfect system, but there's numerous other ones like it. For $9,000, you can be up and running with body cams. Up and running. That's just my one opinion, but.
When we talked about this before, just for educating the public's sake, for anybody that didn't see that selectmen's meeting where we talked about it, the biggest part of that expense of that $250,000 approximate contract was a 5-year contract, right? So basically $50,000 a year. The big part of it was the storage and cloud storage specifically. And I think about 90% of the market share is held by that company.
Right.
Because they are the state of the art, they are what most departments are using. But again, like Jonathan said, it's a big expense. And that's where I was coming from, was worried that, we're already, we're nervous about going to town meeting with a 1.9% increase on the overall budget. To add in more when we already know that people feel the way they do about taxes is difficult. I would very much like to see us have body cameras. I think we need them. I just don't know if 250,000 is the best way to do it. I don't know if 9,000 is the best way to do it, or if there's maybe something in between. Is there a way that we could somehow do some kind of some kind of a study on, the pros and cons of spending X amount of dollars versus another, larger amount, so we make sure we're going into this completely eyes open, that we know, because my fear is if we spend $250 on a contract, when we renew that contract later, it's gonna be even more than that. And it's gonna be an ongoing thing where if we, it's a new expense that gets added, and then more and more money over time that we keep spending on it. I think it would be great to protect your officers. I think it would be great to protect the public in general. You know what I mean? Keeps everybody on the up and up in every way, shape, and form. Comes up as evidence in cases. There's lots of benefits to it. I don't think anybody disputes that. It's just about the money. So, is anybody open to potentially looking at other things, besides these?
Go ahead, Brian.
I just want to say it's 250,000 over 5 years. It's 50,000 a
Correct.
year. That's less than half of an officer's salary when you consider benefits and retirement. And that it puts them on the upper echelon. I think it's important to remember that you can buy things twice. And I know this is a value, and I appreciate the fiscal responsibility in it, but I would lean into the better camera. When we're talking about public safety, it should be the gold standard.
Yeah, no, I mean, your viewpoint is not wrong. I'm not gonna sit and tell you it's wrong. It's just, I'm looking at it, we've done a great job in controlling our municipal tax rate by doing some of the cost savings we've done, whether it's a transfer station, building zone, I can go on and on. But it's just, people are getting crushed with their taxes, and I think there's a compromise, Kyle's point, but I don't think we have time. I would put a warrant on for $10,000 to let them explore systems within that monetary value. And if he doesn't find something, he doesn't find something, but at least he has the option of $10,000 on a warrant for body cams to maybe get something like this. Even if he uses these just for 2 years, that's $5,000 a year, right? And then he can say, you know what, it worked, didn't work, and then we can explore to a bigger and better system. Right? So.
Yeah. Do you have anything to add?
Well, I have a lot to say. I really do. My experience with body cameras, they're garbage until you need them. And when you need them, they don't work. Critical incidents, something breaks. It's electronic. They're there when you need them. Body cameras, in my opinion, are not the end of all, the be-all. They don't record the events as they occur, number one. Number two, my experience with cheaper cameras, they're cheap cameras. That's what they are. They're cheap cameras. Other towns around here, Wakefield, I think Freedom, they have Axon. I'm not saying Axon's it, but the problem is Axon goes along with your tasers. They're the only one that makes tasers. So I'm going to agree with Brian that money now, you might as well wait and don't waste it and do it twice. Because my experience with cheap cameras, that's what they are. They're cheap cameras.
Can I ask a question on that,
Yep.
Chief? My understanding was in the cameras, they're all relatively cheap. In other words, they're all $500-600, even the Axiom ones. The difference with Axiom is you're buying that total software.
Everything, correct.
And that is why the cost is high. It's not that these cameras are cheap, it's just you're not getting that total package of Axiom. So I don't want to put that out that these are bad cameras, because a lot of departments use these cameras and they work. It's just a matter of how much does the taxpayer want to spend. And that's what it comes down to.
That's the problem, because ultimately, we don't even have cameras in vehicles.
Right.
What's going to happen when the state turns around and says, you know what, you're going to have to get them? Then we're really going to be behind the 8 ball.
I mean, even a warrant article at a smaller amount may not even pass the town meeting. I mean, I don't do social media, but,
Which is true.
People are upset about taxes, right or wrong, whatever. So we don't even know what's gonna pass, so, I don't know, what kind of?
This is a tough one. It is. We've talked about it a lot. It's a tough one.
Normally, I don't allow public input in a board discussion, but go ahead. Is it about the body cameras?
Yeah, it
Okay,
absolutely
I'll let
is.
you add to it. Otherwise, I'm not opening it up to everybody, though.
In terms of the body cameras, better money spent now than regrets later. And with most technology these days, you get what you pay for. I agree with what you said. I can't tell you how important it is with police work when you're working with folks that have disabilities, especially mental illness, different issues, active addiction, whatever. if you don't have a recording of what happened and how something handled, the taxpayer rate could skyrocket due to a few unintended lawsuits. And there have been instance after instance where the body camera has proved that the police did everything they could to de-escalate a situation. And when you get in a courtroom, it's somebody's word against somebody's word, but when you have the body camera, that makes a difference, and it protects the police officers.
Okay.
It also protects the folks working with. The other thing is,
We
insurance.
have to, I can't let you keep going. I let you comment, we shouldn't have. We gotta get back to the board. Because I do appreciate it, but we have to get, that's outside of public input.
I mean, ultimately, we could let, if we supported a warrant article for the Axiom ones that are the 250 contract over 5 years, and put it out to the town to vote, the town could tell us whether or not they support it. I don't see harm in that, other than potentially, if it is approved, people's taxes are definitely gonna go up, there's no question.
Can I have permission from the board to say something?
Sure.
We worked really, really hard to put a preliminary budget out, under 1% increase.
We're blowing it up.
With these warrant articles you guys are gonna vote on, I think we're gonna be around 2%. So I do think it matters, because all the hard work we did through budget season and going to budget committee meetings, which are not fun, and all the hard cuts, you are sending a message if you vote to recommend, we're gonna be at 3 or 4% where we were under 1%, which doesn't just happen. So just respectfully, it's not inconsequential to the people who put the budget together.
Yeah, and what gets lost in this, so our proposed budget this year is quite low. What is it at, you said now, not 1.9? But you gotta recognize, we're using a large amount of fund balance in our revenues to get it to there. If our fund balance does not come in, next December it won't be there, you're gonna get clobbered with a tax rate. This is what I'm saying, and then everyone's gonna be looking at whoever's sitting here and they're blaming us, meanwhile it's what's past the town. They trust us to make these executive decisions, like what's best for the town, and present a reasonable proposal to town meeting. And that's why most of the times it passes, because we present it, factual, this is what we need. This, I believe in cameras, but this is a wish list item, I think, because of the cost. It's exceptionally high. And not, when there's other options available, this is not the option because of the cost. Again, it's not the cameras are cheap, it's, you're paying for that totality of the service, the cloud, the taser interaction, etc., all those other features, that's what you're paying for. Not necessarily a better camera. Maybe it is slightly better, but it's not gonna be from crap to good. So I would favor a small warrant of 10,000, which will give him, and if he doesn't choose to spend it because he doesn't find something, that's on him. Maybe it'll get voted down, but at least he has the option with a little bit of money to find a camera system that maybe will work. Maybe he'll say, I can't find nothing and I won't expend it. Then it goes back to the taxpayer. It doesn't get spent. So.
Do you wanna make a motion?
I'm afraid the 25,000 won't.
No, I said 10,000.
I know, but I mean, I'm saying the accent,
Yeah.
I'm afraid it won't pass anyway, so
Yeah.
we do this all for nothing. We're
Right.
gonna come to an agreement on these, so let's just come to it,
So you in for, so if I motion, I put on the warrant for the police department for the amount of $10,000.
It's gonna be better than what we have now.
Yeah.
Correct, to purchase and explore the option of body cameras for the police department.
Sorry.
Any more discussion on that? Is my motion clear enough? I mean, for the warrant, you think about it as a town administrator, that motion I just made. That should be, I don't wanna box them into something, it's pretty clear what I said, right?
You said things like explore and stuff that won't be in the article. It would be to raise and
Yeah.
appropriate
Okay.
$10,000 for the
Right.
purchase of body
It'll,
cameras.
okay, my point in that motion was it would allow the chief the option of buying it, I guess, but that didn't need to be in the motion, but you are correct. Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, chief, so you have, if the town people's pass, you'll have 10,000 to explore a system like this and see where it goes. Okay? All right, Lake Host program.
In past years, we had through the, trying to think of the name of the organization that runs the Lake Coast
New
program.
Hampshire Lakes.
New Hampshire Lakes, thank you. So yeah, New Hampshire Lakes has had people stationed at a couple different places across Ossipee Lake, one being the public boat ramp on Route 25, the other being at the town-owned ramp on Pequawka Trail at the Lakefront Landing Marina location. And we were approached, I'm a member of the Friends of Ossipee Lake as well. We were approached by some folks there that Freedom has been the only town that's been contributing to that in recent years. And they asked if that's something that we would be willing to look at doing, either to, they're asking for $2,500 per year, either that or if we could somehow supply volunteers that would sit and do this in place of someone who's paid to do it. So they pay, when someone works for New Hampshire Lakes and that lake host program role, they get paid $20 per hour to sit there. And a lot of times it's, you know, either retired folks or college students that are here for the summer. They've even had a couple of really, you know, mature high school students that have done it in the past. And what their role is to look at boats that are being transiently put in and out of the lake, to make sure that there's no invasive species that are on their prop or engine from a previous lake, just in the terms of for the goal of trying not to spread more invasive species. Our lake right now is in really good shape as far as that goes. In talking with Amy Smagula, because I've dealt with it a lot with a couple of organizations I'm involved with. But I also feel like Ossipee Lake is our biggest economic resource here in this town. It's our biggest conservation resource. We are already made a purchase, of property on the lake in 2 different spots using conservation money that was donated to the town. So I wanted to bring it up to see what we thought about contributing to that. I know that we're trying to get the budget down. I totally
Can
get
I just
that.
ask a question? They were part of the budget, I forget when, I've been on the budget
Yeah, 2
somewhere.
years ago. New Hampshire.
And then it went away, like they stopped asking for it. Right, so it was because lack of volunteers, I believe.
It was, but they have, I guess from talking to someone who's actively involved with it now, they do have what they feel like is a better crop of volunteers, and they want to try and get it going consistently. And right now, the people that are staffing the Ossipee 2 locations are Freedom residents, who are generally on the Freedom Conservation Committee, and they just feel strongly about the cause, so they've been covering it. But they would like the ability to try and hire people and have some funding to do so.
Well, I'm not opposed to it only because that lake is the economic engine of our town. If it goes, it's gonna destroy our tax base, et cetera.
Right. But it seems like $2,500 is a relatively small amount of money compared to the potential benefit.
And who's the money gonna be going to, the lake host program?
To the Lake Host Program, which is part of New Hampshire Lakes, which is the overriding
And
organization. in the
how many
state.
towns contribute to it now?
Right now, Freedom's the only town on Ossipee Lake that's contributing. But Effingham potentially might be getting hit up as well.
I think they used to ask for 5,000. Is anyone in the
I
budget
just
committee
grabbed these,
remember?
my memory was 2,500, and it's
Yeah.
going back a couple years, it
Okay.
seems like 2,500 was a consistent.
I'm
Yeah.
fine with it. I mean, again, for the reason I just stated, if it truly works, but again, it went away, lack of volunteers, but clearly,
It's hard for them to also recruit people ahead of time if they don't know they're gonna have funding is part of the problem as well. And part of what I talked about the other day, the woman came and presented to the Friends of Ossipee Lake about it. She said that, if they know that they can get funding this early on in the season, gives them a really good chance of finding a good crop of volunteers to make sure it's covered throughout the entire summer. And especially when the college students go back to school in like early to mid-August, they need to even have more retired folks to fill in at that point because they know they're gonna lose part of their people. But they also are open to volunteers. So I mean, part of me talking about this is there may be somebody that's watching this on camera, that is willing or has the time that wants to volunteer, regardless of whether or not we do the funding.
well, if you wanna make a motion, make it.
I would like to make a motion that we add $2,500 into the new budget for the Lake Coast program on Ossipee Lake.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
So that's gonna be,
So that'll be a warrant article, right?
yeah, it's gonna be a warrant article.
Yes.
Thank you.
Jonathan,
Go ahead, Marie.
so for the conservation,
Yeah.
from a conservation point, Lake Coast used to come to conservation and discuss this with us. I was under the understanding that the Lake Coast program went away.
That's what I was saying to Kyle.
Like they
yes.
stopped coming to us and it went away, because I remember they came, because they missed the budget season,
Then they came to
Couple years back.
conservation, yeah, we had a few, but
and then they
recently,
came
as
as
a year or two ago, they called and said they weren't gonna be applying.
Right, because I thought that
Due to lack
it
of
just,
volunteers.
no, I thought it actually went away. I thought they did away with the
It's never gone
whole,
away. I have heard that a lot as a rumor as well, but it's not true. They did have people staffing those ramps last year.
they may have had people staffing the ramps, but I know that through the conservation, because we had inquired about it, and they said that that division no longer, they weren't doing it anymore, because they didn't have the staffing and the people to do it.
Right. That was my
And even when
recollection.
we had the money, we still didn't have people down there. Even when we had the $2,500, they still had a hard time
Well,
getting people to volunteer.
obviously, we're not
So-
gonna release the money unless they prove to us that they're actually expended it.
Can I ask a question? Sure. Last year, I'm pretty sure, wasn't there a thing down there with tanks that you
Yes.
could wash your boat with nobody at it?
Yes.
So is that what they're trying to do, or are they gonna have an actual person?
They want actual people.
Okay, because I know last year there was a big trailer there.
Yeah, I remember seeing that.
With a pressure washer on it,
Yep.
which if it's that, that's fine.
Yeah, no, the way it was explained to us at the Friends of Ossipee Lake was that they want to have actual people that will staff during
Okay.
peak hours at those ramps. They want to cover both
Okay.
because of the activity.
Okay, so we have, I'm just gonna hit these couple, well, the one petition we already beat up to death, the conflict of interest one, so I'm not gonna discuss that. So we have a petition from Way Station, everybody knows what that is, they're asking for $10,000. It just came in, it's a monetary one. I mean, I've opposed this every year, not because, it's not their, I understand what their intentions are, and I know that all the people have the right mission in their heart. It just, I don't believe using taxpayer money to pass out tents, sleeping bags, and gas cards so someone can sleep in their car overnight is not the best use of taxpayer money. I mean, passing out tents and sleeping bags is enabling somebody to camp, which is a direct violation of our zoning ordinance. You can't camp in the wintertime in the town of Ossipee. That is a violation of the zoning ordinance. I'm not saying the person's doing it willingly, or they want to be doing that, but using taxpayer money for those purposes, I don't think it's a smart move. For those reasons, I will vote no if someone makes this motion to approve it, but I'm not gonna make the motion either for it or against it. I'll let it die, but if you guys want a motion on it, that's entirely up to you.
Yeah, I'll motion to give 10,000 to Way Station for the purposes of the past.
Okay, so Brian made a motion to do the warrant for 10,000. I mean, it's going on anyway, it's whether or not to approve it, is what I should say. This is a
To
petition.
recommend.
So it's to recommend, so your motion is to
To
recommend.
recommend, yeah,
Yeah, okay.
10,000 to Way Station.
Yeah, okay. Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
It's gonna die. Yes.
Aye.
Opposed? So there you go. So here's this back, Matt. Okay, we received another petition. I don't do social media, thank you very much, but this I heard is all over social media, and some of it was showed to me. This is basically a petition warrant article to repeal the Ossipee zoning ordinance. Problem was, it didn't follow the process. So to repeal the zoning ordinance, you have to go through the planning board. That's according to RSA 675:4. I knew that by sitting as a zoning officer, all zoning adoption, all zoning changes have to be put through the planning board. The original zoning ordinance was created by the planning board back in the 80s, and every change since then goes through the planning board. So this warrant, even though it came in by petition, it will not even be on there because it didn't follow the process. It would have had to be submitted by around the first week of, actually I have the date here, by December 10th would have been the latest to the planning board, where they then can review it, hold a public hearing, vote up or down with a recommendation, then it goes to the ballot, be on the ballot. So people that want to throw out zoning, they need to follow the process. There's no conspiracy here if you're watching. This is an invalid petition. We're not withholding it illegally, it's invalid. You didn't follow the process.
I want to make sure I've given the board that you were put on that legal chain of.
Yes, you
Yeah,
did.
we saw it,
Yeah.
yep.
Yep, we always do.
I don't know what more to say about it, but it's like everything, we're governed by law and rules, and this is one of those that didn't follow the rules. Did I miss anything on that?
On that one?
No, right? Hey, Bob, did you really sign this?
What is it?
To throw out zoning? I see your name on here. Is that really you?
There's not two of me.
No, it's not, so then it was you
At least the
then.
last I looked.
Okay, it is you then. I'm surprised you wanted to throw out zoning. Okay, that being said, so that's an invalid warrant, that's done, that's all the warrants, correct?
School's out.
Oh, I don't have that in front of me. I don't have that one, man. I got my zoning here, I don't have that. Try to think about the zoning if I miss something. No, I hit the process. That's it. Okay, so we have another petition warrant article. This is for the Schools Out program. Many of you know. This is to see a town will vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $50,000 for the Schools Out program. This is normally $45,000. I guess they've increased it to $50,000. It's got all the signatures. They've been verified by the town clerk. I've always supported the program. I mean, this is instrumental to the kids in their after-school activities. It keeps them out of trouble. It's small money in the big picture, but that's just my opinion. I don't.
Yeah, I agree.
So I'm gonna motion to approve, again, to recommend, I should say, $50,000 for the Schools Out program to be placed on the warrant. Second. Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
So that'll be placed on the warrant. Obviously, it's gotta go through the budget committee on Wednesday, and then the people at town meeting have the final say. Feels like I'm missing something. Am I missing anything? I think that's everything, that was a lot. I think that's everything. Right?
It was the other petition that came in, but it's for the ballot. I don't know if we're gonna have a public hearing on it next.
Oh, yep, we got another petition in non-monetary to revert back to a three-person board, which would take effect if it passed next March of next year. That is gonna have a public hearing, as we did last time. We're gonna do that public hearing March 2nd, is what we talked about, I believe. March 2nd will be that public hearing.
At the normal selectmen meeting?
Yeah, we'll announce it. It'll be posted at the subsequent 4:30 or whatever time it's gonna be. What?
I was thinking it had to be within 10 days of receiving.
No, the latest was March 5th, he said.
Okay.
I was confused as well.
Yeah, it's the way
Because
you
it
worded
said
it.
10 days, but it
Yeah.
also said March 30.
March 5th.
March 5th.
Yeah, yeah,
Doesn't make sense.
yeah. We couldn't have it within 10 days, because by the time you get it, and then you have to post a public hearing notice, you would never be able to do it. It's
24 hours. unless
Oh,
it's-
right, this doesn't have the 14-day notice on it, you're right.
It was only 2 spots, the website and one other spot. The posting was different for it.
Yeah.
It's very confusing.
Anyway, so March 2nd for that hearing. That was the last one, right? Yeah. Okay.
Sorry, there should have been one I saw about changing Connor Pond.
Oh, thank you.
yes.
Like
Yeah.
to weigh in on that.
So there's one that came in to change Connor Pond, way it's spelling, I'll let you speak to it.
Yeah, it's spelled incorrectly on the street sign.
Right.
It wants to reflect the map. Do you disagree?
No, it's just a crazy thing that happened with Neil and I as we ordered signs because we went off Google.
Yeah, I mean,
So we ordered
it's
signs
named
and it's
after,
wrong and it was
it's
just
named
messy.
after a departed person. I mean, it needs to be right. And I would move that we recommend to change Connor Pond. The purpose of the warrant petition.
It's non-monetary, so we normally don't weigh on non-monetary ones.
We can go on record as
I
supporting
guess we
it.
can, yeah,
Yeah,
I guess we
support it.
can, yeah, I guess we can. Yeah, I mean, I'm not opposed to it, it's a historical relevant name, is what you just said, and
It seems like just an oversight, but easy to fix.
I can reprint it if you
sorry,
want the exact wording of it.
No, I mean, I butchered it. We all know the point is to.
So you recommend the Connor Pond petition
Yeah.
warrant article?
Yeah.
That's your motion? You
I second.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
That's all.
What's the correct spelling?
Sawyer with an I.
What's the correct spelling? He's testing you.
CONOR.
C-O-N-N-O-R.
Yeah, sorry, I went to
We're gonna have to
Kingswood.
have another one next year.
I went to Kingswood, so just go easy on
So
me.
if you want signs that say CONNER, we have them.
Yeah, we have, it just passes, they'll be coming down. How many addresses are gonna have to change their, actually, you're not gonna have to, mail will still get delivered.
They're having problems with packages being delivered
Yeah.
up there, the whole 9 yards. It's a mess.
All right, I think that was the last petition. Yeah,
Yeah.
okay, so I'm gonna go do second public input, since, okay,
I got one thing.
oh, I'm sorry, Bobby, hold on.
I just got 2 real quick things. Tomorrow, I'm gonna kind of step on Matt's toes. The selectman's office is gonna be closed. There might be someone in there, but we're not gonna.
Wednesday?
Wednesday, sorry. Wednesday, it's gonna be closed to work on the plumbing. We can't have that open where the public comes in because that's right where he's gonna be cutting and taking out had some issues past couple weeks. The second thing is, I just wanna put it on camera that it's been really cold for a long time, and the mailboxes that are made out of plastic, they're not holding up well. These guys, Neil and his crew, have worked a lot. People don't think so because it's a 3-inch storm, but like I said before, it doesn't matter if it's 3 inches or that 18 inches, they gotta do the same thing. Low visibility. If your mailbox gets hit, call me. Do not have interactions with them when they're dead tired and get all mad. We will look at it in the spring. It is against the law to fix them. They are in the right of way. That would be using our money for private gain, but just understand that these guys are tired and there's a lot of snow. You can't see well, fences, stuff like that, and we will take care of it. So I just want to put that out there, especially the plastic ones. Those are taking it hard.
Good, go ahead, Bobby.
I got a couple,
Oh, I'm sorry, Bobby Rokes.
okay. I got a couple of questions for the chief about the body cameras. First off, you think a body camera is more important than a car camera?
Yes.
Okay. Secondly, do these body cameras upload the image instantly, or do you have to take it back and put it in the dock?
The Axon, you can do it, you can actually remote access the cameras.
Right.
And to save it, to upload it to the cloud, would be a docking station.
The third thing, are you going to use these for training?
All cameras would be used for training, whatever product they get.
Yeah.
But part of this thing with Axon would be getting 10 new tasers too.
Okay.
It's like John said, it's a whole umbrella of goods with Axon.
And that's kind of the point I'm getting at, because I deal with technology quite a lot. There's a lot more use for you getting for that $50,000 on the camera you just stick out there.
Correct.
Oh, no, I agree with that.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about it.
Yeah, and I understand what you're saying about the voting too. I mean, it's definitely a raise in cost.
Yep.
But I just wanted to get that out there so people understood there's a difference in the, in
No, we
value.
get free anyway. Any other public input? Bob, did you have something?
Real quick, great agenda.
Yep.
I want to thank Ed for clarifying his comments. I'm just, the risk assessment, doesn't our insurance company provide a risk assessment capability for us? I know in my experience, my CFO and I would always have our auditor and our insurance company come in and tell us, well, how can we do this better? How are we exposed? The cameras, for $250,000 may save a $2.5 million question. So the risk reward, what happens here? How do you do risk assessment?
Pertaining to what particular?
Any exposure do you have? There's a potential legal exposure.
Well, body cams are an optional thing, not a mandate. It's not.
No, I understand that. That's not my point.
The chief made a valid point, and I've done research and reading on this too. Sometimes the cameras don't show everything. Sometimes a camera will show something as it didn't really actually happen because of the angle and the viewpoint. So they're not a save-all for truth.
Right.
So I get your point.
Well, is it worth the risk, reward? I mean, other issues that are going on are day-to-day practices.
Yeah.
Is what I'm talking about.
We did that with the railing out here. We replaced it.
Right.
Because the insurance company, it was too low.
Well, that's what I wanted to hear.
So Neil and I had it replaced.
So does Primex offer us the ability to have someone do a risk assessment,
That was my point.
We're the ones they're gonna be the ones paying out for us if somebody sues.
They came out when we originally switched to Primex and are aware of everything we have and have never expressed a concern.
We switched to Primex 3-4 years ago. What has it been now?
At least 4. And
so they did an assessment then. They had no concerns. I don't think they're going to get to the level what the Governor's Commission on Disability is going to look at. They're going to get to the nuts and bolts of the disability aspect. Primex isn't going to look at that because, again, an existing structure is not held to the same standard of disability standards as a new structure, just like your old house. If you built an addition, the new addition would apply to the newest code. The old addition, we don't do nothing about it. And the ADA has that part too, and that's what Ellen Keith, I think was her name, was kind of speaking to that. So I think let them come and do their assessment. We can send that then to Primex, let them review it.
Well, I'm not talking about that price. It's the overall day-to-day practices. I read recently a town close by, but our insurance company is in there to try to deal with an issue that had to do with the day-to-day use of vehicles.
Yep.
Okay? So, I think we owe ourselves, if they do that, we're paying them a premium,
Yep.
let's get the best out of
Yeah,
them.
Matt can reach, I mean, that's just part of Matt's normal duties. He can reach out and just inquire and say, do you got, I mean, they may do a normal risk assessment periodically on their own. They may walk, count, we don't know. So that was a question we can ask. You
Okay.
know, just
That's all.
like your homeowner's insurance, they do satellite surveillance of your home, they look for a pool, they get trampoline stuff, so that's a question Matt can ask. Yeah, that's a good question.
Thanks.
Okay, Bobby?
Kind of following up with that, is there any insurance savings to having body cameras?
That I don't know.
That would be a good thing to find out.
Primex doesn't do, because this is a risk pool, it's not like Liberty Mutual or somebody else, it doesn't work like that.
It doesn't work like that. That's just trying.
No. We had that question about another thing, I don't know, Matt may remember for the same, what was it?
Backup
I
camera.
just said fair question, yeah.
Backup camera.
Right, yeah, same thing.
They should give you reduction.
All right, I'm gonna close, oh, I'm
Can I
sorry,
say
yeah,
something?
hey Dallas, we didn't hear from you tonight.
That was a lot to unload there.
Yeah, that was.
That was a long conversation. So I was trying to take some notes to see if I could
Yeah.
remember some of this. Lake Coast, they didn't come to the budget committee for any money. They said they weren't coming. So this is new to everybody. I'm not opposed to it. $2,500 for that is not a big deal. The way station, I am definitely opposed to. I do not think we should be giving our money to this way station. There's no checks or balances for that. We just hand them the money, here you go, do whatever you want with it. And they're out of North Conway, somewhere. They're not even from up here. So zoning petition, I actually, you know how I feel about that. I think that should be allowed to go through. Whether you agree the process wasn't right or not is a whole nother story, but it probably could be a motion on the floor at some point.
It can't.
It has to go through the zoning.
Black and white.
It has to go through the planning board?
Yeah, read the RSA, Dallas, like, you know.
Okay,
we're-
well, no, I'm just saying, I feel like the people, want to have their voice heard.
But it doesn't work that way with the law.
I understand, okay, I'm bringing all these things up because a lot of these things that happen are because people want. I guess maybe you guys don't hear, and I'm sure, I don't do Facebook, so I don't know about a lot of this stuff. Everybody is talking, they want this, they want that, everybody wants something. And they sign all these petitions to try to get something done. But I will say, this is probably one of the largest groups I've seen in a while in these meetings, just saying. So they could come here and do that. They just want their voices heard. And if somebody sends a petition, I say, okay, sure, I'll sign the petition just so we can talk about it.
That's right.
Whether the town votes on it or not as a whole, well, let's talk about it. They can vote whichever way they want.
It's not a valid petition, so we can't legally
Well,
put it on the
and
ballot.
I understand that, but, you
That's
know.
what it comes down to.
No, but that's,
Yeah.
I'm just telling the reasons why I would
Oh, I
sign a
get it.
petition like that.
I get
Okay,
it.
so I get your point. People probably not gonna be happy about that, but that's that. School's out, another 10,000.
No, they're 50,000.
Well, no, it's up.
Oh, it's up 5,000.
5,000, sorry. I'm not happy about that, once again. And, everybody has a problem with me saying something about that, but every year I go through the same thing with this whole Schools Out program. It just keeps growing and growing and growing. Go to the school budget. It should be in the school budget, not the town budget. They do not answer to us. That's it. And that's the way I feel about it. I'll probably vote no again on that. Goddard Pond, I didn't know they spelled the name on it.
Yeah, that's been a thing, Jim.
The selectman's office is gonna be closed. Is it just the selectman's office on Wednesday?
Just selectman's office, because of
Okay,
plumbing.
because the budget committee meeting is also that day.
You might be able to go over to Kelly's and she can come get Jesse, or I don't know if you're gonna have Jesse.
For what?
Well, no, it'll be afterwards, right?
No, a budget hearing has nothing to do with the selectman's office.
No, so it's not gonna affect that,
No.
is all I'm saying.
No, it's just in that office.
All right, so, and the body cams, we had this discussion too, I wasn't in support of that. I think that you should try to do this, if you need the cameras or you want the cameras, you should try to do this cheaper version for now and see how it works. I know it's about the tasers, because the company you're talking about is a taser company. That's what they do. The software program is an ongoing, recurring expense that's gonna last a long time. We do not get to keep any of that information. If they decide we don't pay the bill, it's gone. We don't have any of it. It's all gone. We don't have any of it stored. Nothing. They control all of it. So I hear you, I understand. I think that I'm not opposed to the body cameras, but I wish you would go with the cheaper version for now. Just until you can make a decision in a year or two and say, hey, listen, we tried this, it's not working. He's got a building he wants to put up, and he's gonna put it on a building for next year. And I looked at that building, it's a big, ugly building, but, you know,
It's old and salt.
yeah, all right, it's a huge building.
Yeah.
But it's gonna be a huge expense. It's gonna come our way. We also have the transfer station, huge expense. It's gonna come our way. So, do we need to add this? We're talking another $1 million onto our budget, we start adding all this stuff up. And I'm not looking forward to that because my taxes are already high enough. For what I got, I don't have much. So, my take on a lot of these things, and I just wanted to point it out, you know, and I get it, everybody's concerned about a lot of things, but.
This is the RSA, just, you wanna spread the word so people don't.
I'll take that.
The internet conspiracies, that's the
Yeah,
RSA for the.
So at least I have
Yeah,
something
you
to
have
back
that.
up what I'm
You can use
saying.
that as guidance if you wanna do it, if someone wants to do it
Post it
next
on
year.
your Instagram that you have.
I don't have that.
So I just got wanted to add.
I don't have it.
So,
anyway.
you said we don't appreciate you speaking against it. I just want to say, we did get statistics. I found the email from the weigh station. They served 223 times. They gave out 34 gas cards. And if you're homeless and you're living in your car, a $50 gas card can keep your ass warm when it's 0 degrees out.
Okay,
So they
we
did
have
do
other
something.
programs out there. We have other programs out there that they could use. They don't want to use them. This is a way of, hey, we'll give it to you, no checks and no nothing. This is our money, okay? I get it. Everybody feels bad for everybody. That's the problem. Everybody's got bleeding heart syndrome, and they want to give everybody's money away. That is socialism. Sorry, I'm not a socialist, okay? Can't help it. This is our money. We don't just give it away. So the chief would like to have it. Right? If we're gonna do it, we should just give it to the chief then. I mean,
That's right.
people being homeless, a lot of times, I found that they wanna be homeless. Okay, there's a lot of people who don't want any part of any of this stuff. They don't wanna go to the town and ask for help. They don't, and trust me, I'm right there. I'm one incident away from something and losing everything. Okay, so I get it.
30 seconds now, just like, oh, just letting you know,
Hey, listen, wait a minute, he cut me off, give him my time back.
I'll give you an extra 10 seconds for that time.
I get it. Okay, so I understand. I don't agree with it, that's all. So, I'll leave it alone.
Thanks, Dallas.
Make it elected.
Okay, this is, we're still on public input, Sue, you have something, and then we gotta go on, because it's been long, and
Okay.
this is it.
Just one of the, basically I have questions, I've been on the budget committee for a while,
Yep.
and I've been there for all the votes and things being participated. The biggest thing I don't understand is the things that come in late and then don't get put onto that budget this year because they didn't meet the time frames. We know that there's a thing that they have to be submitted by a certain time. Then I start seeing towards the end, right when we're getting ready for Wednesday, is things that didn't get there on time now coming in through with warrant articles through, you know, this board right now.
Yeah.
And so I don't understand if, you know, like, if the rule is it has to be in by that time, why there's an exception? Because there's been other articles that have been refused, that were people that have taken money as, you know, on the budget, and their answer was, you didn't get your thing in time, so not this year. Like the V&A, and then so the next year, they put it in. They didn't come in now, so I just want to know why.
I'm just gonna clarify, so there's a distinct difference between submitting an outside agency package through the town administrator, which is a policy, versus getting a petition warrant article in which has a legal deadline. If they submit a petition warrant article about a legal deadline for a monetary amount, it's legal. Petition warrant articles have to go on the ballot if they follow the process.
Right.
The zoning one didn't follow the process, it doesn't go on the ballot.
Yeah, and I
So
get that.
so there's a distinct difference between outside agencies and petition warrant articles, you need to separate those two.
Right, but the thing is, Way Station came in the first couple of years that I was there as an outside agency.
Yes, correct.
And then, you know, in fact, one year we actually increased it another $8,000, you know, on the floor. You know, I get that, and then, so this year, again, when it came, like, when they're late, all right, that's
But
it.
it's, whether or not we recommend it, it still goes on the warrant because it came by petition.
So if they,
It's still there.
if you miss the deadline, you can do it as a petition, that's
Yeah,
what you're telling me?
you can do it, that's legal, you can do it as a petition, that's the law. Right, as long as you get it in 5 Tuesdays prior to town meeting,
Right.
you can submit a petition warrant article, as long as you follow the process, it'll be on the warrant with our recommendation or not, if it's monetary.
Well, like most of the outside agencies, they all have their worth, they're all, you know, doing it for a long, long time. a lot of people don't understand the way station does not find homes for the homeless. I know during the severe storm, they found three places for someone to stay. You know, they're just helping people that can live in the car. People that are in the woods, in those tents, don't have a car, so they're not getting the gas, you know, so now you know, try to get them out for food and warmth and other things like that. But, and plus two, it's up in Conway, it's not even here in Ossipee.
Well, the solution is, if you don't like it, you can vote no.
No,
Right, like I did, and the people decide.
Yep.
Whew, this has been a long one. Dallas, last time, and then I'm moving
reading
on.
this thing right here that you handed me, and it says, right on here, that it should be submitted to the selectmen or village district commissioners,
Yeah?
and then, it has to be submitted to you first, and then it has to go to the planning board.
Yes.
Correct. They have to set up a town meeting.
Yeah, because it goes to us.
Says
then
they
it-
have- But it says it goes to you first,
Right.
and then it goes to them.
Which is what it did. It came to us, goes to the town clerk, she
Okay, so they have
checks
to-
the signatures,
so, yeah.
then we'd have to send it to the planning board, but they didn't make the deadline of December 10th.
Does it
90
say
days
that-
prior, it's in there, I'm not debating it now. It's
Okay,
in
I'm
there.
looking for the 90 days.
90 to 120 days, I believe it says right in there.
It's in there, Dal.
Oh, okay, it
Yeah,
says
it's
just
in there.
during the period of 120 and 90 days prior to the annual town meeting.
So it's December 10th was the deadline.
It is confusing.
Yeah, that's a big.
I never said RSAs were easy to read.
No, that's
but
a
we
big
follow them.
confusing. I was just, I got
Thanks,
you.
Dallas. I'm done with
Mr.
public
Chairman,
input. Oh, go ahead.
I have to wait until last.
Oh, I'm sorry, you're right,
That's
sure.
the policy.
That's the policy.
I just wanted to repeat, since the Damon Steer from County Daily Sun was late to the meeting, I had to make a correction. After doing research, the Deer Run Trail and the Friends of Constitution Park did not receive the
Sheehan grant.
from Sheehan.
Okay.
Okay. Put that in writing.
You have something, Damon?
I got
Oh,
something.
yeah. Go ahead.
About the cameras.
Yeah.
There's a two-part thing here. It's the tasers and the cameras. Just speaking to the cameras, you could buy good cameras.
Right.
You can upload them to the cloud. It usually does not cost to upload to the cloud. It just costs pennies to download them when you need them for court cases, and you can index that yourself. So I would start off doing that, but the taser is a separate issue. Does the police department have tasers now that are operational?
Yes.
And, okay, that's it. Thank you.
Okay, Damon.
I know you guys discussed that first article. What was it, getting rid of the zoning, I'm sorry, the zoning officer job?
No,
No.
the repeal of the zoning ordinance?
No, the first article that you just.
Oh, it's a conflict of interest article. It's not really about the zoning job, it's about creating a conflict of interest where full-time employees, part-time employees can't be selectmen, where current law allows that. So it's gonna make part-time employees prohibited from being, selectmen from being part-time employees.
I was just gonna see if I could get a hold of those petitions, particularly that one. Yeah, I want to see the signatures and how it was written.
Yeah, Mac can share that with you.
Okay.
Yep. Okay.
Any other ones you want?
Let's see, I think,
Zoning
the
ordinance?
zoning, and I'll take even the Connor Pond one.
We're going into actually consecutive non-publics after this. It's gonna be a late night. Do you mind emailing me what you want?
Yeah,
No.
and it would be the bottom anyway, I don't need it tonight. Thank you.
But you'll email me to remind me of things.
Yes, I will.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah. I get, public input's closed. Kyle has something to say.
Real quick, it came up earlier about, just on the Lake Coast thing, I just want to say that I just found the letter. The Freedom Conservation Commission wrote to the Ossipee Conservation Commission on November 18th, asking them to get involved and to get money in line for the Lake Coast program. And I also have heard from Gloria Valari from Friends of Ossipee Lake that she's been asking repeatedly for the signage on Loon Island, formerly Loon Island, now George Eisner Island, and not getting a response at all from Conservation Commission. Marie left, so I couldn't ask her about it, but yeah, so I mean, just wanted to clarify, so if she sees this.
I believe that upon my recommendation or request, the secretary has added it to their upcoming agenda.
Oh, good, okay, good. I just wanted to get that finished.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, but they did, the Lake Coast program, or Freedom Conservation asked for Ossipee to get involved back in November.
Okay, that being said, I am gonna motion to go into non-public for session 1 under RSA 91A32A and session 2 under RSA 91A32A again. Do I have a second? Roll call, Brian?
Yes.
Kyle?
Yes.
Smith is yes.
Will you be conducting business?
Thank you all for coming.
I have no anticipation to discuss anything. Do you have any discussion coming after the non-public?
I do not.
So we don't have any business.
What do I do?
I don't plan on it, Ed. I want, this has been a long one again. But I have to run to the bathroom and then.
Right after you.
Sure you wanna run?
I got something about that. I was gonna tell them, they just retired government.
Are you sure that you have the current one there? I should implement a revision number policy, like a process or something.
Why, because there's 12 of them throughout the season?
No.